Good morning, mate.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Two Crazy Guys, One Crazy World podcast. The podcast by your two crazy guys. One, the baby boomer. Generations yet both of us crazy enough to want to bring you your daily crypto update and all the news on the crypto markets from around the world. So sit back and relax with Stacey and Chris and see if you can work out who's the boomer and who's the ex.
Hey, good mate, about yourself?
Not too bad, and I think I almost got it right. Almost.
Look, sounded
But
good enough for me, mate.
The real news of the day. Hold up your arms. Hold up just your arms. Hold up. No, all the way. A bit higher. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we are T-shirt twins.
So have you got the heating cranked up, mate?
I got the heating cranked up. I just wanted to be a T-shirt twin.
Yeah, no. I haven't needed to put our aircon on for weeks. It's been great.
Oh, really?
No.
Aircon. Is that the stuff that blows cold air?
Does cold and hot.
Well, yeah, but mostly you use cold up there, right?
Mostly. Yeah.
Yeah, well, how about I just open my back door?
We do have a foggy morning, though.
It looks like a beautiful day out there today, an absolutely beautiful day. There's a little bit of wispy white in the sky, but nothing major. It'll burn off. I can see the steam rising from my spa, which is at 38 degrees. The steam is sort of wafting up into the sky. And it actually looks quite still. So maybe it will be a nice day. I can tell you it definitely won't be a day where I won't wear a tracksuit top or something when I take little Tacker, the little David O'Deal off to school in a couple of hours' time.
Well, look, it's Canberra, mate. You can't go anywhere without a jacket in Canberra.
Yeah, that's very, very, very. Although, my beautiful princess did come home on Friday night only wearing her work clothes, a big coat and a beanie. There was no scarf.
No scarf? Oh.
No scarf.
She braved it.
Spring has sprung. It is officially spring.
Well, it is. This is right. We're 2nd of September, aren't we? It's day. We actually started spring with a big foggy morning for some strange reason.
That's because you're in Queensland. You do things backwards. And by the way, happy Father's Day for all fathers yesterday. We do hope that
big
you had
happy Father's Day.
Stacey had a terrific day. I had a terrific day. I mean, it was really, really good fun all round. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm very quickly going to show you my Father's Day morning.
Go you.
Because that was fun. Just because I can. So, here it comes. Here it comes, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to share my screen very quickly. And you can see here, this is my little man who you've all met through the podcast, Teddy. And I got a Lego set for Father's Day. So Teddy and his beautiful mum sat there for 3 hours building this set. And isn't it an amazing set? Look at it. It's the Avengers headquarters. And you get Thanos and you get Hulk and you even get Captain Marvel.
Maximise it, mate. You can't see much because of your messy desktop.
How's that?
That's better.
That's better. See, you got Captain Marvel in there, you got Iron Man there, you got Thanos and Hulk, and you got a helicopter.
Man, look at you guys go.
That's Black Spider-Man sitting in the helicopter. And you got the Avengers car, the whole lot. Mate, very tricky to build. 3 hours worth of building there.
Wow, look at that.
But if you're ever thinking of anything for Father's Day, Mother's Day, great idea. Get something you can do with your kids. And this sort of thing keeps their brain going. It keeps their brain going. It keeps them away from anything electronic, and they have a ball.
Yeah, they do. Absolutely.
Well, I reckon it was a perfect present for me, even though I wasn't aware that it was Captain Marvel and Iron Man.
Yeah, nice one. Nice one.
Fantastic.
Good work, mate.
Thanks, mate. I thought so.
Yeah, no,
so
always good.
You go?
Yeah, a bit of a quiet one, but we most of the kids were doing their things. All our kids are growing up and doing so. Quite a relaxed one. Lots of phone calls and FaceTimes and stuff, which was nice. But
I had the same from my elder boys who are over in Canada for their cousin's wedding. They FaceTimed me yesterday morning, so it was good.
Nice. Yeah. No, very, very relaxing weekend, which we needed. Been very busy, but we're gearing up because in 2 weeks, mate, we're off. So
I know.
2 weeks we'll be out of here. We'll be OS.
Off the Bali.
Bali for the first phase of the
Up to
trip.
Bali. So, in 2 weeks' time, ladies and gentlemen, there will be a podcast happening from different parts of the world.
There will be.
Stay tuned.
All over the place.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting times.
It will. All right, mate. How are we going with the market? Let's get on to this stuff.
All right. Well, so I will have to share thy screen with you. So let me do this and this and this and this.
There we go.
All right. So
look at that. Bitcoin, $9,625.70.
Yes.
Which is, Stacey and I were talking about this before. Stacey said, there's been a couple of spikes and ups and downs over the weekend. But really, I've had the chart going most of the weekend and watching it. There have been a couple of, relatively big jumps, but nothing major. And we've been fluctuating in the low to mid nines all ever since Thursday, Friday last week. So it's really been calm waters. It's sort of been calm stability time or stable time, I reckon.
Consolidation, yeah. So we're building for the next move. We'll see what happens. But so currently sitting at 9,625 US, up almost 1% for the day, for the 24 hours, and our market cap hasn't quite gotten back over 250 billion. It's sitting at 249, but still up 0.5% from where it was 24 hours ago. So
it is. It's still a long way down from where it was a couple of weeks ago, 317 billion.
Yeah, no, definitely. In fact, we in the peak, I think we're up to 380 at one stage, weren't we? Was it? Did we get 380? When we hit, let me have a look here. It's taken very slow times. So that was 352 within the last 2 months.
Yeah,
3 months. Let's go 3 months. So the 3 months, 368 billion was when we hit that peak in mid-June, and as you can see, it's just slowly but surely coming back down again. But
it's fine. It's going to go up and down.
Yeah, look, that's right. So in Bitcoin, if we look at let's go back to the 1 hour. If we sort of zoom in. All right, so here, this is the little peaks and troughs we've been talking about. There's one here up and a down, and another one here where it's down and an up. But like you said, it's trading within that range, isn't it? It's apart from those odd little jumps here and there, but
those little rogue waves that come out of nowhere just to rock your boat a little bit. It's been smooth sailing. When you scroll out that way, you can see
other than the big drop we had back on the 28th, the end of August.
Yeah.
So interesting. But anyway, let's look across the top 10. So we've got Ethereum sitting at 170, up 1.7%. XRP's just above 25 cents and up 0.8. And we've got Bitcoin Cash up 2.4 to 281. Litecoin's still not moving much. It's still down at $66, but it's up almost 5% for the day. But it lost a lot, so it needs to retrace a bit.
It's Tether made officially jump from number 7 to number 6 on all the exchanges. Remember on Thursday we read the report that Tether had gone from 7 to 6, but CoinGecko still had him at 7. Well, now there is.
She's swapped over, so Binance Coin's lost a bit of market cap there.
Yeah.
And sitting at 21.26, up just 0.4 for the day. But it certainly has lost a fair chunk of its market cap, no doubt about that. EOS at 324, down 0.6, and Bitcoin SV 129, up 1%, and Cardano holding the top 10 position at 4.4 cents and down just 0.1. So
there it is, number 11. still trying to bust his plane.
Stella's sort of holding in there.
Tell you a funny story. My little brother rang me on the weekend. He tried to ring me, and he sent me a message and he rang me. And he said, "Mate, have you seen Stella?" And I went, "No, why?" He goes, "I got a message. It's gone up 50% in the last hour."
Okay.
And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I had a look in there, and I think, Pete, you may have mistaken 5%, 50%.
It's only one decimal place. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it was at 6.1 cents, and it would go on to 6.2. Don't get excited, dude. Don't get excited.
Maybe he'd had a few drinks that day, and the decimal places are sort of where he's expecting maybe.
Well, he's been in and out of hospital getting back surgery, so I think maybe it was the drugs they put him on.
That might help. Maybe he should share those. All right, so we go on to crazy news then, eh?
Absolutely.
Well, here's one that you wanted to start with, so go for it, mate. It's all yours. You're muted, dude. Can't.
Scroll down a little bit for me, sorry. I just like this one. This one's sort of a really brief summary. The Bitcoin price, what would Stacey and I were saying, it's been really stable waters. It's been between 9.5, low 9s, mid 9s for the last 3 or 4 days. So people are consolidating. Then this comes out and they're talking about the same thing. They're saying Bitcoin price, yet more consolidation. They heard it here first. Trust us.
That's right.
And the next story in that little one, the race is on to beat Facebook Libra. I just like this because it says there, it seems that everyone and their mum is now working on a stablecoin for online payments. We all know that BitMEX are doing it and so forth. So
well, it's funny because it's hardly new. I mean,
it's hardly new.
Stablecoins has been around for 2 years, so
because Facebook have put Libra out there and said we're going to throw $1 billion into it, everyone's gone, oh shit. We better get in on this train.
Well, the next one. Well, the key thing with that one is they don't want Facebook in control of any sort of monetary supply,
right? Saying, hang on, if we don't do something and Facebook do,
Libra's going to big time.
The next one down there, the news in brief, of course, Peter Schiff has come into it because the minute that Bitcoin dropped below 10 grand last week, Peter Schiff went, "Ha! Told you so." It's just air.
It's funny.
XRP, they're calling for a split in XRP, a fork, to stop them getting out all these coins because they're saying it's diluting its value.
Yeah.
And Craig Wright, Dr. Craig Wright, we all know, I think we touched on this last week, the Florida court has said, you've got to hand over half of your coins, 1 million Bitcoin, half of all these intellectual property, which arguably may not be worth that much. I like that. And so he continues to lose his little battle to maintain something that he probably hasn't got anyway.
Poor little fake Toshi. So always interesting character, and just I don't know, just can't help but laugh every time I hear about the latest thing he's up to and doing. So crazy stuff. So more crazy stuff. Look, there's more. The articles just keep piling on every day about whether or not we're heading for a massive bear market in a global economic sense, of course, that we're talking about. And there's a good article here that sort of looks at the pros and cons, I suppose, of which way we go. And one of the things that they talk about is the fact that there's so much rhetoric and news that is driving the markets up or down, that it's hard to work out which way it's going to go. And
no one knows.
But this is the other thing, that where's the fundamentals, right? I mean, why is it that a tweet from the president pushes the prices up and down so much, which really shouldn't?
That's part of my argument. A lot of the analysis that is done is based on historical fundamentals. And historical charting and the way they've always done things. A lot of people haven't taken into consideration the real impact of the social media, things like Donald Trump tweeting, has on the markets around the world. Now, they say, oh, yeah, but that's crap, that doesn't affect it. Well, sorry, guys, have a look at the last year, 2 years.
It's definitely
does affect it now. Yeah. And how do you actually chart? And how do you forecast against that?
Absolutely. And actually the statement here is that this has been an impossible market to effectively trade as rhetoric between the White House, the Fed, and China has reached fevered pitch. So it's not just Trump versus China. He's also attacking the Fed as well. So it's no one knows which way it's going to go and what it's going to do. So
no, if you ask Donald, remember we've all seen the video. I know best. Nobody knows more about markets than I do. Nobody knows more about tax than I do. Nobody knows more about drones than I do. We've all seen that video. So ask Donald. Nobody knows more about what the economy's going to do than I do.
Yeah, and he continues on his merry way. He just slaps on new tariffs to China, and then apparently 1 minute later, China says, "Yeah, well, if you can do that, I can do that too." And so then apparently another minute later, after the last lot of tariffs hit, then China's come out and what they put out another 75 increased tariffs on $75 billion worth of US goods. So, but this in particular was really targeting the heartland of Trump's support, which was the factories and the farms, right across the Midwest and the South. So China's playing hardball, and they're trying to hit him where it hurts, and that's obviously where his key support. Yeah, yeah, definitely that. So yeah, like we were just saying, it's crazy stuff. We don't know where this is going to go. But interesting, Ray Dalio is having a slightly different perspective, but unfortunately, the outcome's still the same. And he was saying that the period we're in right now is very similar to the 35 to 45 time frame, and his outlook is not great, and he's suggesting that we should be very fearful and protecting ourselves against massive economic uncertainty. So yeah, again, when someone like Ray Dalio talks, then really you should listen. I mean, this guy is quite well. He's renowned in the investment world as one of the largest and most successful hedge funds in the world, and he's been quite vocal of late in terms of helping. He's provided some. He's released a couple of books, of course. And but he's sort of, and I like his aspect. He's sort of reached that point in his life where he's gone, you know what, I've been successful. Life's good for me, but I want to try and pass on the knowledge that I've gained and help people. So that's what he's been doing over the last year or two, and really trying to come out and pass on some of his knowledge. So I would highly recommend anyone go and look at some of the latest stuff by Ray Dalio. It's some really good stuff.
I think we'll put the links in the show notes, folks.
Indeed. All right. And of course, not just Ray Dalio, but other private debt funds are also preparing for economic downturns. And the article there talks a whole bunch of technical charts and stuff, but same old story. You know, everyone who's anyone is basically saying there's economic downturn coming. So it just amazes me. Two things. One, just how much of this information is coming out now, and like every single day there's more. But B, that our governments aren't talking about this. Right? They're carrying on like we're all hunky dory, you know, and they're not preparing the country and the people for what according to most of the pundits is we're heading for. So it's just going to be like another, surprise, our economy's got down the toilet. It's like, we didn't see that coming. It's like, why not? Every man and his dog's talking about it.
You can see it coming, but no one wants to admit it because of the simple fact that, in some places elections count.
It's just, mind-boggling. Well, we could go to North Korea.
I like this one.
They're doing all right.
Stealing $2 billion from crypto exchanges and banks by their agents around the world in order to raise money for funding for their weapons of mass destruction program. Now,
you just muted yourself again, mate.
I love their response. Their response is just beautiful.
Where's that?
Here it is. It's coming up a little bit now. Such a fabrication by the hostile forces is nothing but a sort of nasty game aimed at punishing of our republic and finding justification for sanctions and pressure against the DPRK.
Stop it! You're being nasty to me. Just stop being nasty.
The statement further adds that the UN is reenacting the same old trick as the Hitler fascist propaganda.
Oh wow! They're actually
Oh my
comparing
God.
him to Hitler. Wow.
Oh my God. They've been identified. 35 purported North Korean cyber attacks across 17 countries. 10 were directly targeted South Korea, and India was the victim of 3. It doesn't say where the other 4 were, but I think it might be, hang on, United something.
It could be. There's a good chance of that.
Yeah. I mean, really. I mean, stop being nasty, everyone, to North Korea. Yeah, because these are very Gentile people. Well, the people probably
The people are,
yeah. Their leader.
Not so much the leader.
His leader's actually quite a reasonable guy. I mean, his uncle, the one who fell asleep in the meeting.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he should have been still on and had an artillery shell fired at him. I mean, could you imagine being tired?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he got to sleep forever.
Totally justified.
Yeah. Just ridiculous, that place.
Dude, I like that. Just nasty. Just don't be nasty anymore.
I know. And the US Air Force, that next tab that Stacey's mouse is on, here's another example of how blockchain technology is being used. The US Air Force has got Simba Chain been tasked with prototyping a blockchain approach for registration and tracking of additive manufacture, also known as 3D printing. Because let's not call it 3D printing, let's call it additive manufacturing. Because what do you do? I'm an additive manufacturer. Oh, what's that? I print stuff in 3D.
Well, they couldn't use the title that everyone already knows. I mean, that would just be boring and no innovation.
Leave it to the military to reinvent something that's already been invented. But it just goes to show that organisations out there, be them private, be them government, whatever, everyone is looking at new ways to use blockchain, which has got to be good.
Yes, they are indeed. It's a technology that's not going away. And it's still immature. There's no doubt, and there's a lot of buzzwords being thrown around in terms of blockchain this and blockchain that, and probably a bit of a good example here too. But that doesn't devalue the underlying technology in the right use case, and that's the important thing.
Mate, one of the lines there that I like in that is, consequently, as a result of blockchain technology, the broader US Department of Defense has been looking seriously at a range of blockchain technologies for increased security applications. So is the whole world, dudes.
Well, I mean, if we talk about the original blockchain, i.e., Bitcoin, there is a blockchain that is open and public, mind you, but has not been hacked in 10 years. Right, so
9 years, 10 years,
10 years. It's over 10 years old now. It's over 10 years old, and so it's definitely a technology that people are starting to the bigger end of town are starting to wake up and take notice too, because God knows people have tried enough to break this thing over the last 10 years, and so far today they haven't succeeded. So,
and the reality is that when someone does, and we can't say that they won't.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
When someone does, the technology is going to be improving it all the time as well.
Yeah, of course it will. And that's the beauty of it, right? So just because new things are coming out, and I suppose the classic example of that is, and you raised the question the other day around quantum computing, and they're saying, well, quantum computers are going to be able to break the encryption, and Bitcoin will be useless. It's like, well, that may be the case for where Bitcoin is now, but the Bitcoin developers are not sitting still, right? So as technology moves on, well, so is the Bitcoin developers, right?
Just imagine the Bitcoin developers have used a quantum computer to make the unbreakable chain even further unbreakable.
Yes.
Now we're trying to build a Pentium quantum computer to try and break the unbreakable breakable.
Yeah.
On it will go.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. I mean, technology will move on, and look, there is. It certainly looks like that quantum computing would have the ability to very quickly crack our current encryption technologies, but it's still theoretical, right? So,
right.
but as the technology moves on, well, so will the cryptocurrency technology. That's
Look at the size of heat sinks and everything else used in the technology to reduce the heat in the chips now. You know, put in a quantum computer. Ladies and gentlemen, please move closer to a volcano. It'll be cool.
All right. Well, I think that's probably it's probably enough for I think today, Sunshine.
That is about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us once more on our episode 55, all the fives. And if you remember, that fits with how many coins there were last week, because midweek last week, how many were CoinGecko tracking? 55.
Was too.
55 episode. However, CoinGecko have advanced. They've got 5572 today, so it's gone up. There's been more coins launched. Will those extra, how many coins is that? 17 coins, be in the top 10 in the next 3 months? Who knows? Because you don't know what they were. Not yet.
Yeah, I think it's just adding to the shit pile.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. So this has been your two crazy guys in the One Crazy Crypto World podcast for episode 55, September 2nd, 2019. As always,
you muted yourself again, dude. What are you doing? Get your finger off the button. You're still muted. You're still muted. You're still muted. Unmute yourself, Christopher Deal. What are you doing? I don't know what you've done. Check.
I had lost the screen. The screen just I hit the wrong button and everything went splastic. Welcome to Two Crazy Guys, One Crazy Crypto World. Don't forget, join us over there on Patreon and get your very own blinking. I'm not there, but they disappeared. This is actual price.
You got blinking nipples.
I got blinking nipples, damn it. We'll see you here. Same game.
Indeed. All right. Have a crazy old day, folks. See ya.
See ya.